Hello everyone, my name is Bradley. I have a Brad taste in music. I got the button up and I'm ready to knock out the top 10 worst albums of 2017. There were not that many bad apples this year, only a couple. I'm impressed. 2017 was quite a good year for music. So let's talk about the bad apples in the bunch. First, I want to start off with my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention was Demi Lovato, Tell Me You Love Me. The subject matter on this album was all extremely cringy. We had Kevin Gates, By Any Means 2.
You had to know it. What you doing?
Final honorable mention is actually Brain with the Brain EP, aka just Lil Dicky's Brain. It's bad, but come on. I mean, it's got some moments. It's still pretty awful. Now to the official list. Let's start with number 10, Eminem with his new album Revival. I gave this thing way too generous of a score, but that's because there are points on here that aren't that bad. I mean, Eminem is a very talented MC. Looking back, there's not a single song that I really want to go back to. Like, on this entire album, there's no songs that I can pick out and say every single thing is good. So when I have to give it the thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down, most of the time it's the thumbs down. Half of it's pop ballads, the other half is just destroyed by garbage choruses and terrible mixing. There's a song on here with the absolute worst hi-hat I've ever heard in my entire life. Throwaway garbage this is. And don't even get me started on the terrible cover art. This is so ugly to look at. Number 9, a very obvious pick, Har The Click. This has made almost everyone's list because it is just that bad. Take everything that's bad about millennials, right? Amplify it. You got this album. The mixing is criminal. The subject matter of these songs is just... oh. Number 8, another obvious pick, Lil Yachty, Teenage Emotions. If every single thing on this album failed, it would be okay. Lil Boat's mixtape didn't have the best instrumentation, didn't have everything, but it was cute and fun. I'm trying to figure out a way to put this. Imagine you have a vase, right? A $20 vase, and a kid comes over and he just knocks it over, right? Are you going to be that upset? Yeah, you're going to be upset, right? This album is like a $20,000 vase. That vase was production. Lil Yachty comes over and he knocks it down. Just keeps knocking down $20,000 vases with all these songs. And you're sitting there and you're watching it. That's how bad his performance on this album is. It is unlistenable, but not nearly as unlistenable as number 7, which I put 2 albums at. Trippie Redd, A Love Letter to You, 1 and 2, both came out this year. If Trippie Redd is not the most annoying rapper, then I have no idea who is. Some people can handle his voice, I just can't. And he pushes the limit. I can handle Danny Brown. I can handle Lil Yachty. What the heck is this? Jesus Christ! 2 albums of that. Number 6, again with the obvious picks. Come on, XXXTentacion 17, are you kidding me? What a joke of an album. Every song on here is like 2 minutes long, yet you somehow make the song still feel too long.
That's how boring this album is.
I listened to this thing with heavy depression, and I still hated it. Fuck you. Now we're at the top 5. Here's where I remind you guys, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button. I spent a long time on these videos. Also, make sure you like the video, follow me at Brad Taste on my Twitter, and let's get into the top 5. Number 5, P&B Rock, Catch These Vibes. Not only is this album terrible at every level, the first song on here is like a tease, where it's actually good. The first song, Friends, is quite a good song. But it just takes you downhill, and you just keep hitting every single rock and shard on the way down. And it just gets worse. And then eventually, it's just a giant pile of short rocks. P&B Rock is a douchebag on this album. He sounds like the biggest asshole you've ever met. You read about him screwing some chick with, like, disgusting descriptions of it. And it's really fun listening to this album knowing that he was in the involvement of the jumping of Lil B. P&B Rock. But not just that, I actually gave this album a review, right? For some reason, all of my comments were removed, but I remember some of them. I remember hearing, you fucking cracker, you don't understand music, get this freaking cracker out of here. Like, I've never unironically been called racial slurs as a reviewer. This album, never make music again. Disgusting album. And I'm not done. On top of songs about just fucking every girl in sight, you know, he's got some real meaningful songs on here that are just slow and criminally painful to sit through. On top of that, he's also got plenty of guest stars, but every guest star who he invites onto the stage, he ends up being shittier than them. Even Ugly God and Lil Yachty. But I love Ugly God though. And Smoke Perp, he just makes a Smoke Perp song with Smoke Perp on it. Except for he sucks ass. This is just a disgusting album. It's disgusting listening to it for even letting this guy be a 2017 freshman. Like it sucks. At number 4, I expected Lil Peep to make this list, but after listening to his tape, Come Over When You're Sober, there were things on there that I actually kind of enjoyed. Of course, the song Awful Things is still one of the worst songs of this year, but a couple of the earlier tracks, there were really interesting ideas mixing rock and punk and trap. And overall, it was an okay project. Wasn't the worst thing in the world. But then I heard this right afterwards. Joji and Tongues. Again, I listened to this whole album again. God Bless Me. And this is like a failed version of that, it feels like. There's just pianos and sad feels, and it's just really, really boring. There's an interlude that ends this entire album off, and the only redeemable quality about it is that Joji is the only producer. So you can give him a pass for that. But this album actually is just the equivalent of just ear diarrhea. It's so bad. It's not even an album, it's an EP, but still, man, it's cancer. Comment section for my criticism of this is actually quite civilized, though. People are actually pretty respectable about it. Still PNB Rock. It's fan base. At number 3, if you want to stay in the music business, here's what you don't do. You don't release a debut album that's 21 minutes long. It's not an EP, no. It's a debut album. Julia Michaels' Nervous System, at the same time, while it is so short, thank God. Because her voice cracks like a dying seal on almost every song. If I remember correctly, I think it was Pitchfork who put this album on top of Big Crit's album for best albums of the year, you know. No! Number 2. Jake Paul Litmas? Why am I even putting this here? Like, I could have just forgotten that this thing existed and I'd be happy, but it exists. This thing exists. Man, this thing is absolute fucking garbage. We let this happen. We let this happen.
Oh God, why?
We let this happen. Where's my... We let this happen. We let this happen. The only reason that's not number 1 is because, man, you gotta give the kid a break, okay? I mean, it's like, it's actual torture to my ears. At number 1, the worst album of the year, you might have guessed it because it didn't show up yet. Why won't you just leave? Chainsmokers, why do you have to try to survive in 2017? The only reason I'd ever play this album again is if I played it at exactly 11:17 on December 31st, so I could leave the Chainsmokers where they rightfully belong. This is the year we stopped listening to their music, okay? Stop. No more radio play, no more anything. Chainsmokers, album, freaking $25 on Amazon, are you kidding me? For your vinyl? No one wants it. Go. Shoo. Your album was a disaster. Memories Do Not Open is like a millennial vomit pile. There was one song on here I liked. Bloodstream. Everything else sucked. Why do you have a song featuring Florida Georgia Line? There's 3 explicit tracks that start off the album that all say the F-bomb so that it could be super edgy and relate to edgy millennials. The worst of these being Break Up Every Night. Songs like Something Just Like This are ear-crushingly painful, with terrible drops, with diarrhea synthesizers that are heavy duty. Eminem reference. Jesus Christ. It Won't Kill You sounds like freaking Peer Pressure, dude. Like, oh, Paris. Jeez, right. No! No! Chainsmokers released the worst album of the year. Anyways, if you liked the video, please subscribe. Make sure you hit like, hit notifications, do all that stuff. My name is Bradley. You already know what it is. Leave a comment. Peace out. Anyway. How do you like that Death Grips collection I got there? Why can't I just... There we go, yeah. It's good, right? Oh, Jesus, spit everywhere.